Hi, what's up everybody? Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I just installed Reshade over Parkitect, which if you're not familiar with it, Reshade is... I'm not sure how to describe what it actually is, but it's something you put into your game folder and it lets you adjust the colors and add effects. You can basically go in and Photoshop the game in real time. It's very versatile, there's tons of options, and I'm going to go in and just try and mess with it and see what we can do to change the way that Parkitect looks. Right now I have the presets turned off, but I'm pretty sure this isn't how the game looks by default. I don't know if I'm just... my eyes aren't calibrated right because I've been messing with it a little bit, but I don't think this is how it normally looks. This might be a little off, but this is off. And the most recent preset I was messing with, this is on. So the game looks like this normally, and with this preset it looks like this. And this one, I think this is kind of cool. I'm not sure if I would tweak this one much more. This one's kind of like, I was trying to go for sort of a Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 sort of feel. The original game is very bright and vibrant. Roller Coaster Tycoon is a little bit darker and kind of a moodier tone. And this, you'll actually see a lot of the details on things stick out a little bit more with these settings I've got here. The grass looks really cool. I actually really like the way the grass looks right now. These pieces up here have a texture that you can't normally, or at least I can't normally see very well with my computer's color settings, which this is going to look a little weird if my color settings are a lot different than yours, but I mean, this looks cool. I think I would play with this setting. One thing you have to check is make sure things look good in menus. This doesn't really affect the menus much, but I mean, just doing a little back and forth here, there's a big difference. And what's cool about Reshade is you can go in, and unfortunately it scrolls to the camera when I move it, so I'm gonna have to pause. When you go into these settings here, there's all these settings you can choose from, and you can adjust them all on the fly. Which this one, I'm gonna keep this one. I'll go into a new one and I will show you how it works. Let's see. Let's just name it test. I can't type test. So right now it's set to the default settings, and these are all the ones that I was just using. I chose active to top, which moved them to the top so that I could have them all up there. So this is back to how it was just a minute ago, but I can go into any of the settings that I've just chosen and modify them however I want. So I've had colorfulness a little bit lower than neutral. If I raise it up, you can see in the background there everything gets brighter, which that looks awful. That looks absolutely terrible. So we're not going to keep it like, well, that's not that bad, but we're not going to keep it like that. The reason I'm pausing is because this happens if I don't, and I can't see the changes when I do that, so I have to pause, unfortunately. You can edit it on the map screen, but there's not as much to look at on the map screen, so let's take this and see. You can really ramp it up like crazy, or you can go completely black and white. And then this one here, it just kind of deals with how colors change next to each other. I don't really know the ins and outs of what all these things do, but I mean, you can see that looks awful. So if we go in, let's get rid of colorfulness completely. These are basic Photoshop. If you're familiar with Photoshop at all, you know what these do. Curves, levels, vibrance. Filmic Pass, I'm not sure what that does, but it's made that, it was kind of like a film grain. It made the details stand out a little more. You can even see here while it's paused that it makes a big difference. Clarity is obvious. Clarity, it's kind of like anti-aliasing, but not really. You're not going to see much of a difference here because it's on pause, but you can see the shadows and like the oh, what's that stuff called? Ambient occlusion looks like it's getting a little different, which ambient occlusion is a big deal. It's just how things look, like these walls here, see how they're darker towards the bottom? That's ambient occlusion. And you can see it's kind of causing some problems with Z-fighting here. And the cloud textures look really weird on top of this building. But I'm just playing with the settings anyway. I'm not trying to do anything special. I do have two other ones that I tried to make. So this one is default, default, vibrant, default, vibrant, number 1, number 2, and then that looks a little crazy, so I tried to make one that was a little less vibrant. So here's default, vibrant, default, vibrant, default, vibrant. I think this one looks pretty nice. This one's pretty balanced. It doesn't distort any of the menus or anything. It just makes things look super bright. Default, vibrant, default, vibrant. Just the colors look richer. And it especially looks nice on this, I think. Default, vibrant. And that's what I was saying at the start of the video. I'm not sure if this is actually how the game looks by default or if my eyes are just not calibrated right, because this looks really desaturated after playing with this. And I'm not using the in-game built-in color filter. I'm on default, so that should just be how the game looks. And I will upload those two. I'll put those in the description, the Vibrant and the Roller Coaster Tycoon 2-ish colors, because I think these look nice. This one might be kind of rough to play with. It might be a little bit too dark. The bases of these trees look a little dark. I'm not sure what setting that would be. I think that's probably curves or levels. Yeah, that would be the curves. The curves are a little too rough. Because curves are contrast. And let's see what we can do. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of playing with the tools. So that's at 452. If I lower it, there's a little bit less contrast. Let's see how that looks. That looks a little better, because now you can see the details on the trees from all angles. And we can go in and see, here's how it normally looks, here's how it looks now. Just the grass detail looks a lot cooler like this, I think. And you can also see more detail on the water. There's a big difference in the water detail visibility. So I like that too. Some of these colors look a little bit too contrasted. Like this stands out a lot. It doesn't really change when everything else changes, which could be a problem for some people. I don't really mind it, but I mean, you can go in and edit all these settings anyway. So if you were to download this and you think, okay, that looks a little too bright, you can go in and you can adjust things like that. You just have to learn what all these settings do. Let's go back to the test one and we'll try out some of the crazy settings. Let's see, like cartoon. You can see already the cartoon one affected the menu pretty bad. This one just tries to add an outline to things. Whoa, that looks a little rough. Oh, it looks nice zoomed in. Let me turn off the extra settings so that it's just default settings with this. It's not, the lines aren't really thick enough to make a big impact. When you zoom out, you can see that smaller details get kind of muddled. But this is off, on, off, on. It's not really doing much. When we're zoomed in, it looked okay on the people with those other settings active, but it's not really doing anything. Which is too bad, because in some games, this setting does a lot. What does this one do? Raises to filter out fainter edges. Filter out fainter edges. Whoa, okay. So this one, if you make it lower, it makes the lines thicker. Okay, here we go. Now we can see some changes. Ooh, that looks neat. It's a little strong, but this looks cool. On finer details, it looks terrible. But I think if you were trying to take a photo of your park and be kind of creative with it, this isn't too bad. It looks nice on these flat color large structures, and it looks cool on the people. A little bit messy, but oh, it looks nice on the water. Look at the edge of the water there. That's like it's pretty good cell shading on the water. Like the finer details like this chain, they look really good up close. I mean, this shot looks nice, but then you zoom out and it just gets kind of blurry. Look at the smoke on the train. Smoke on the train looks a little ridiculous. Let's see. Make that. Let's make it even thicker and see what happens. Oof. Whoa, that's bad. That's playing with the Photoshop filter and not knowing what you're doing. That's real bad. Again, though, zoomed in on the flat color structures, it doesn't look terrible. It's obviously way too strong, but it doesn't look terrible. Let's go for something kind of in between. What was that other one at? 1 point something? I don't remember what it was at. That's not too bad. You can see the shadows have a strong outline on them. That looks ridiculous, but just in general, I mean, it would be fun to play like this for a little while. That's half of the appeal of Reshade, is just being able to play around with different settings. See, it makes outlines on the dark shaded edges of the terrain here, which looks kind of weird. And you cannot read this text. Wooden coaster is broken. Something, something, something. But it's fun to play with. Let's see, what other crazy settings are there? There's a lot of cool stuff you can do in here. These aren't going to work. This one just makes like fog. This one's advanced CRT, which this one, you can make your game look like you're playing it on a CRT. So it kind of looks like I'm playing it on an old school TV. It's even got rounded edges on the corner here. You can see that. It's like I'm playing it on a rounded tube TV. Which this is really dumb because I never played a game that looked like this on like a PlayStation 1, but that's pretty nostalgic all the same. You can actually make it look even more like it's on a CRT if you adjust the settings a little stronger. Then you get the little lines on the diagonals here. It's not terrible. I mean, I don't know why you would want to play like this, but it's not terrible. It's convincing. It's a convincing effect. Let's see. Whoa. Bloom and lens flare. This isn't really doing much. It's doing a lot on the menu. It's going crazy. The problem with Reshade is it doesn't know what's a menu and what's not. It's just going over the whole screen. So, ooh, there we go. Whoa. Let's turn the menu off. That's crazy bloom. That's pretty bad. There's no bloom over here. That one's a no-go. Let's ignore that. Let's see. What other ones are neat to play with? I don't know what that one does. Just straight up film grain. You can just add film grain effect. I'm not seeing it at all though. That one might not work in Parkitect. Oh yeah, I see it. You can kind of see it on the trees here. On, off, on. YouTube's not going to show that. YouTube compression is not going to show that. Motion blur. I don't know if that'll work or not. They should just add fake motion blur. Oh, it works. Oh, and it hurts my eyes. Oh, that's bad. Why would you ever want your game to do this? And I guess if you're riding a coaster, it might be cool to have motion blur turned on. Are any of these cars moving? Nope, I guess they're not. It's only have one car. Oh, it's broken. Okay, we can't even see. You don't want to see anyway, it's stupid. Film grain's dumb, or motion blur's dumb. There's a stronger film grain. There's all sorts of depth of field options, but they're not going to work well for a game like this. I believe it makes it, oh, actually it might work well on this. It goes where the mouse is. So you can see these guys in top are unfocused. Let's turn it so we're facing them. The guys on top are in focus, and the ones in the back are not. That could be cool for taking pictures. It doesn't work very well though. It's not doing anything really over here. I think with tweaking that one might be neat for taking pictures. HDR makes things just plain darker. I use this in the Vibrant preset that I was showing off. Oh, how come it's not screwing up the camera anymore? Because it's paused? No. I don't know. It's just working now. Okay. Well, that's good. Chromatic aberration is like that movie film effect where it's not going to show me anything in here, is it? Nope. That's just a film effect where the edges of things have color to them. It's hard to explain. It's terrible. I hate it. This one's just glitchy. you wouldn't want to play the game like this. But if you want to make a video of like a dark ride or something, you can go crazy. There's all sorts of cool stuff you can do with this. I don't know what half of these are. I'm not a pro. I don't know what these are. This one's just plain blur. Wonderful. Beautiful. This is what you can use if you want to play cataracts mode. Pretend that you can't see the game at all. You can add a crosshair. I guess. I'm not sure. Oh, it adds a crosshair where the mouse is. Wow, beautiful. Very useful. Depth 3D. This would be neat if you had your monitor hooked up to like VR or something, I'm sure. It's just two slightly different shots. I don't know if it works automatically with a game like this, but LUT is lighting, I think. I don't know if it's doing anything though. Doesn't seem like it's doing anything. More depth of field options. This one's ring, which means that it goes based on the center of the screen, or you can click here and it makes it go based on the mouse. We'll make it a little stronger and see what happens if I can figure out how to make it stronger. You can see it happening as I move my mouse away from the menu and such, but focus radius. I don't know. I don't think this one's really going to do anything for us, especially since I don't know how to use it. Magic depth of field is like an automatic depth of field preset that it uses the mouse driven, so it knows where you're pointing and it adjusts accordingly. It's not really going to do anything in a game like this because there's not much depth behind the camera in the first place. GP65C9 CJ042 depth of field. Don't know what that is. These are just different kinds of depth of field. Marty McFly depth of field. What the heck is that? Monochrome. Light depth of field far, depth of field near, night vision. This would be cool for videos. Do like a vandal hunt at night. We're in our helicopter, we gotta find the vandals. Something stupid like that. Otherwise it's useless. There's sharpening, there's tint. Tint, you can just straight up tint things whatever color you want. Really not very useful at all. Another chromatic aberration. There's another bloom one. What does this one do? Besides lag the game out. Seems like it's not doing much at all. Alright, well. Reflective bump mapping. This one's not working. Yeah, this one just adds crazy artifacts to the screen because of the way the game's rendered, so we don't want to do that. This one makes it look like a very old computer game, and I'm pretty sure there are different settings for different color spaces, color palettes. Yeah, see, you can do C64, Commodore 64, or whatever, EGA. What's the... Oh, EGA is the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, EGA is the one I was thinking of, I think, with the blues and the pinks, and Apple II, NTSC. Yeah, they're all in here. Commodore VIC, Atari. Oh, Game Boy. Let's do Game Boy. Wow, it's like I'm really playing on a Game Boy. Wow, that's actually like spot on. Of course, the resolution's too high, but it's like super spot on. Tone mapping, and a bunch of other crap. So really, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff in here. If you know what you're doing, you can go crazy. I mean, look at this. We can make the game look like it's made in text if we wanted to. I don't know why we would ever want to do that, but we totally can. Completely pointless. But if you know what you're doing, you can do a lot with this, and you can share these super easy. All you have to do is download them and put them in your put them in the Parkitect folder once you have Reshade installed. and that's all you have to do. So I'm gonna put these in the description, along with details on how to install them. And if we're lucky, people will make presets that are actually good, unlike mine that I just kind of threw together. And you can get just some neat different perspectives on how the game looks. Instead of playing like this, you can play it like this. Wow. Won't that be cool? Just for a quick different perspective, let's go to another map and see what some more vibrant colors look like. Just play around for one more minute before I hang up the phone here. Oof, loud noises. Oof, Leggy Park. Yeah, this one looks a little bit less fun with this preset. It loses quite a lot of it. Wow, look at the difference here. That's notable. But then if I go into the vibrant ones, it looks way too bright. Here's the original. Here's after. But I like high saturation in games, so I usually go for something like this, like the less vibrant preset that I made here, because it just makes colors look, it makes them look tastier. Honestly, that's the word I would use to describe it. Like this, I would eat this, but I would eat this. This looks delicious. And this looks nice, but wow, look how tasty it looks now. So that's, you know, pretty classic inability to wrap it up here, but I will put those 3 that I made in the description. Hopefully somebody will want them, and if you play around with them and you make your own, please let me know. Please share those, put them in the comments, put them on Reddit, do whatever you want, because I would love to have some well-made color presets, considering the game only launched with 2. It only launched with 2, and there's no way for us to make our own outside of Reshade. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my very terrible description of what Reshade is and what it can do, and I hope somebody can come up with some neat little presets for all of us to download. Bye. Normal ending. I nailed it. I fucking nailed it.